Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, let's unpack this. Sometimes, the simplest things hold the most profound power. Like just a few words. A handful of words can be an anchor when everything else feels adrift. Today, we're diving into the surprising strength found in motivational quotes, especially when you're navigating moments of struggle or even depression. You've shared a whole stack of sources with us, exploring how these short phrases can be really vital tools for mental well-being. So we're going to unearth the practical magic within them.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that these aren't just, feel-good platitudes. We're going to explore how they actually function as real psychological tools. They're not just nice sentiments. They seem capable of actively disrupting negative thought patterns and fostering genuine resilience. We really want to get into the mechanics behind their power.
Right, the mechanics. And that's exactly the kind of practical insight we want to deliver for you. We know you appreciate gaining knowledge quickly, finding those aha moments, but without feeling overwhelmed. So this deep dive is designed to cut through the noise, hopefully giving you memorable takeaways you can actually use. Our journey into this topic actually starts with a very personal reflection from one of the sources. It paints this vivid picture of feeling utterly disconnected, drained, like even simple tasks felt impossible, caught in a fog. And in that quiet morning, this one particular quote surfaced. "This too shall pass." The source admits, look, it didn't instantly fix anything, but it became a grounding force, a quiet, persistent reminder that, okay, a way forward exists, even when your brain is shouting that it doesn't. It really emphasizes that quotes aren't instant cures, are they? But they're profound supports, powerful ones.
That's such a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
Because if we connect this to the bigger picture, your mind can sometimes become this relentless loop, right, of negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. This will never get better, stuff like that. What's happening there, essentially, is your brain has established these strong neural pathways for those negative thoughts.
Okay.
So a well-placed quote isn't just a distraction. It acts more like a cognitive interrupter. It forces your brain to momentarily shift its focus. It creates this tiny pause in that ingrained, often automatic negative pathway. And that pause allows a new thought, an alternative thought, however small, to maybe enter your awareness.
So it's not about instantly believing the quote, maybe, but about creating that tiny crack, that moment of interruption.
Precisely. Yeah. It's like planting a seed. These aren't just words flying by. They can gradually reframe how you see yourself. They can become a kind of quiet resistance against despair, as one source put it. That pause allows for a reorientation. It makes it possible for you to maybe consider a different perspective, even just for a second. And over time, that persistent whisper can start to challenge the loud shouts of despair. It really highlights the power of language in healing.
That idea of quiet resistance, of reorientation, that's really something. It actually reminds me of another profound truth from our sources, Albert Camus. He wrote, "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me lay an invincible summer." How does that idea, that invincible summer, connect with the inherent strength you were just talking about?
Oh, that's a beautiful quote. What Camus captures so well is that even when everything outside feels bleak, when you feel utterly devoid of warmth or light, there's still an enduring intrinsic strength inside you. It's not something you gain when things get tough. It's something you discover was always there. So these quotes, they often act like a compass, kind of pointing you back to that inner resilience, that invincible summer you might have forgotten about. It's the struggle. They don't just offer hope. They suggest you have an inherent capacity for it.
That's a really powerful personal entry point.
Yeah.
But building on that, beyond just offering a glimmer of hope, what are the broader impacts? What can these quotes do for our mental health, for you listening right now?
Well, yeah, there are several specific and powerful ways these words can support mental health based on the sources. First, they offer validation, especially when your feelings don't seem to make sense to you or even to others. That's incredibly potent because, let's face it, struggling often brings shame, isolation.
Feeling like you're the only one.
Exactly. So knowing it's okay to not be okay, that doesn't just offer comfort. It actively combats that self-judgment. It creates space for acceptance. They also foster emotional resilience, helping you bend instead of break under pressure. They provide hope when you feel utterly hopeless, just a quiet whisper that things can improve.
That whisper can be so important.
It really can. And importantly, they remind you that healing is possible. and that it's often nonlinear. It's rarely a steady upward climb. It's a journey, ups and downs. That's normal, expected even. And crucially, depression often tries to erase your sense of self, doesn't it? These words can help restore it. They actively challenge that internal narrative of worthlessness and despair.
That's powerful, the idea they can actively challenge that narrative. But, when someone is really deep in that negative narrative, how can a few words break through? Doesn't it sometimes feel almost too simple?
That's a really fair question. And it's key to remember, like we said, they're not instant magic. Often it's not about immediate belief. It's more about introducing an alternative possibility. Just hearing, "you're not your thoughts," plants a seed. You might not believe it right away, maybe not for a while, but it creates that tiny crack in the rigid negative story. It lets a little light in over time. It's like a persistent whisper against a really loud shout, gradually building new pathways in the brain.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a gradual process. What I found particularly insightful in the sources is how they aren't just, a generic pile of quotes. They actually categorize them, showing that different words speak to incredibly specific needs. Let's look at quotes designed for strength, specifically strength in the midst of struggle. Because real strength isn't always loud or heroic, is it? Often it's quiet, persistent, totally invisible to others. The sources highlight that simply surviving, that's an act of strength.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
A profound act. When you're in the thick of it, just getting through the day is monumental. And some powerful examples here speak directly to self-worth, to resilience, like your depression does not define you. That helps create that separation, right, between your identity and your condition.
Yeah, that's key.
Another one, you are not your thoughts, helps create distance from those intrusive negative loops. Then there's the deeply affirming, you are enough, even on your worst days. Just letting that sink in. And a crucial one, you are not broken, you are healing. These aren't just nice affirmations. They are direct challenges to that internal voice of depression trying to tell you otherwise.
And what about when that inner voice tells you there isn't any hope left at all? That's one of the cruelest parts of mental health struggles, isn't it? When your own brain convinces you there's no light, that things will never get better.
That feeling of utter hopelessness is incredibly isolating. It feels so total. And when your brain is telling you there isn't hope, these words challenge that voice directly. Consider the acronym HOPE, hold on, pain ends. It's simple, but it's a reminder of impermanence.
Hold on, pain ends. I like that.
Yeah. Or the profoundly simple truth. You've made it through 100% of your worst days. Think about that. It's a testament to your endurance right there. And of course, you mentioned K-Move, but there's also Dumbledore's wisdom. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. These quotes don't promise instant fixes, obviously, but they offer that quiet, persistent, vital spark of hope.
And sometimes that spark is all you need to keep going. Now, another category, quotes that validate how you feel. Because you are not weak, because you feel deeply. You are human. Our sources really emphasize this. Feeling your emotions isn't selfish or a flaw. It's actually a really important, non-negotiable part of healing. But we're so often taught to just push feelings away.
Exactly. We internalize that message. And that's precisely why validating quotes are so essential. They provide comfort, reassurance, that your internal experience is okay, it's acceptable, it's okay to not be okay. Just giving yourself that permission. Huge. Your feelings are valid, all of them. Reinforces that. And a deeply compassionate one I saw was, crying doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been strong for too long. These phrases, they don't push for action or try to change how you feel immediately. They simply acknowledge your pain. They remind you you're not alone in feeling it, which, as we discussed, directly combats that shame.
Yeah, acceptance instead of fighting it. And as we navigate these intense emotions, the sources also talk about shifting our perspective on healing itself. It isn't just about trying to become who you were before the struggle. It's maybe about discovering who you are becoming, even through it all. It's a journey of growth, even when it feels like just a battle.
Exactly. Yeah. That reframing is so important for forward momentum. So for that growth and starting again, the sources offer some inspiring quotes like, you're not starting over, you're starting wiser. That's such an empowering reframe, isn't it? It transforms past struggles. They're not failures. They're learning experiences, building wisdom.
Starting wiser. I really like that perspective.
Me too. And every scar tells a story of survival, a beautiful acknowledgement of resilience, and a gentle yet profoundly powerful reminder. Healing takes time, and that's perfectly okay. Each day you choose to keep writing your story, you're growing, evolving, becoming stronger, even if it doesn't always feel like it in the moment.
Okay, so we have all these powerful words, these different categories, but they aren't just for reading, right? They're meant to become tools, things you actively use. So how can we practically weave these phrases into our daily routine, make them work for us?
Yeah, the sources have some really practical suggestions for making these part of your mental health toolkit. You could journal about a quote, maybe reflect on how it relates to your day, your feelings, or use one as a mantra during meditation, or even just during a few calm breaths. Sticky notes, put them on your mirror, your desk, somewhere you'll see them often.
Simple but effective.
Totally. Or make one your phone wallpaper, your computer background, for that constant, subtle encouragement. Another idea is a quote jar. You just pull one out each morning to help set an intention or shift your perspective for the day. The main idea is just to keep these reminders present, active in your awareness, so they're readily accessible when you need that cognitive interrupter we talked about.
Keep them handy. It's so important, too, to remember that you're not alone, ever. Struggling with depression or any mental health challenge, it can feel incredibly isolating. But your story, no matter how heavy it feels, it's not yours alone to carry. I love what Fred Rogers said. Anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. And these quotes, they can also help us support others, can't they?
Absolutely. That's a great point. If someone you care about is struggling, your words matter a lot. You don't need all the answers. Often it's just about presence and compassion. Supportive phrases can include things like, I'm here for you no matter what. Simple, direct. Or, you don't have to go through this alone. Or again, just validating. It's okay to not be okay. These tell them you see their pain, you accept it, you're there.
And what about what not to say? That seems just as important sometimes.
Crucial. The sources highlight avoiding phrases like, just cheer up, or snap out of it. Even if they're well-meaning, they can feel incredibly dismissive. Like their struggle is just a choice they're making badly. It often just adds shame to an already heavy burden. The goal is to stand with them, not to try and fix them.
Stand with them, that's key. And for those moments when maybe you feel down and want to share online, the sources suggest a bit of caution. Gentle, authentic posts seem to be the way, like, today is heavy, but I'm still here. Or taking things one breath at a time, things that open the door for connection maybe, but without oversharing during a real crisis. It's about normalizing emotional honesty, but also protecting our own privacy and well-being.
That balance is important.
Yeah, so we want to leave you with a kind of gentle challenge. This comes straight from our sources. Today, maybe try this. Choose one quote, just one that speaks to you right now. Write it down, put it somewhere you'll definitely see it tomorrow. And finally, try saying it aloud, even if it feels hollow right now, even if you don't believe it yet. Speak it anyway. Healing often begins with words we don't quite believe in the moment, words that plant a tiny seed for tomorrow.
And just to reiterate, it's really crucial to remember that while these quotes are incredibly powerful tools, they are part of a bigger picture, part of a comprehensive healing toolkit. They're not a standalone cure for complex mental health conditions. They won't fix everything on their own, but they can be a really helpful support, a consistent anchor. And if you are struggling, please remember that talking to someone you trust or seeking professional support from a therapist or counselor, that's always encouraged. It can provide much more tailored guidance.
Absolutely. So the core message from this deep dive really is this. These quotes can offer hope. They can validate your experience. They help shift your focus from shame towards self-compassion. They're like a gentle hand on your shoulder, a quiet voice reminding you that healing is possible and that you possess an inherent strength, that invincible summer. Your pain is not the end of your story. You are still writing it. Every word counts.
Yeah. And your strength isn't measured by how happy you feel all the time. It's measured by your willingness to just keep going, to find that internal resilience, despite the weight you carry.
You are still here. That matters more than you know. That's brave. And honestly, that is profoundly enough for today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.